Burning Cedar Sovereign Wellness is a nonprofit intertribal communal space here on Brookside in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And our mission is to address socioeconomic disparities, health disparities, and general cultural disconnection for the urban Native population in Tulsa. So we're a space for the Native community to gather, heal, and grow. We're really wanting to provide room for people to create community connections and reconnect to the land as a way to heal, which is often difficult in urban spaces. So we're kind of trying to provide that land reconnection in that urban space. Our garden is the place where people can reconnect to the practice of growing our own food, even in a space where, you know, we're surrounded by all of this urban development. Even in this small, you know, kind of residential footprint, we can use the space that we have to produce food, to reconnect to traditional ancestral crops and medicines that come from the land, and in general just get our hands in the dirt and spend time outside together and just reconnect to where our food comes from. And all of those things are support the health and wellness mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually for Native people. So we're really trying to use this garden as a teaching tool for how you can do that in your own space when you live in the city. I'm a chef by trade, so this kind of started as a catering venture and evolved into a nonprofit and community organization as the need presented itself. And so we still do catering. We do that as fundraising for the organization. So a lot of times folks will approach us wanting traditional indigenous foods for their event, and we do that. But the majority of our efforts are focused on community programming. So this is the garden. This is what we call the gather side, because this is the side where we kind of have, or we'll hopefully be having when it cools down a little bit, like some outdoor events, communal dinners, garden dinners, and stuff like that. But everything here is part of like an edible food forest permaculture project. You know, we have the stuff, like some garden stuff spills over here, like our Mvskoke pumpkin over here, but then every little space that we can find, we're trying to pull out any invasive species and then put in edible or useful pollinator plants and traditional food plants and things like that. So we've got like elderberry bushes over here, and then these are pawpaws, all these little seedlings in the cages. We just planted those last fall, and so we're kind of just working on, you can see like the progression of pulling Bermuda grass out, trying to keep it away from the babies. You know, this one might kind of be getting a little too much sun, but we did try to, we're always trying to kind of create, like figure out how to create the natural like ecosystem back here, you know, like put in the biodiversity, but keep in mind like how these plants are found in nature. How can we like recreate that here? So
this is it's gonna be a cute little pop-up.
I think so. And then we'll, you know, once they're kind of more established, we can start planting their, you know, underneath kind of plants. And we might think about, you know, something else for, this kind of provides a good amount of shade, and then our magnolia tree provides a good amount of shade, but it does, this early morning gets quite a bit of sun, but they're happy.
Yeah, they look great.
They're good.
They're beautiful.
And then we've got behind you, we have these sunchokes. This is our second year with these that we'll be digging them up. So we had a really fun workshop where folks got to come out here and help us dig out all of the sunchokes. And we got probably 15 to 20 pounds of sunchokes from this patch, which means probably this year it'll be more like 40 or 50 pounds, because go crazy. They combination reseed, and then they grow by the rhizomes, which is like the root that we eat.
I see.
So we're gonna dig them out, and then we have like a cooking workshop where we show you how to, like, all the different ways that you can cook them. But
Really
that'll be ready in the fall.
That'll be fun. That one is really thick.
Yeah, they're crazy. When we dig them up, they make for great like kindling. I dry out everything and keep cut the stalks into little fire starter pieces, because it's like pretty fibrous inside, but like it dries out to be really nice. And then this is our outdoor kitchen, work in progress. There's gonna be, this is kind of the pot stove that we'll be doing, like, you know, heavy big pots of soup, and then this will be like, it gets one more layer, and it'll be at counter height with a grill, so we can teach wood fire cooking with all, like, right here in the garden.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah. And then we've got like berry patch along the wall. There's a bunch of blackberries that have started to take off.
Are you gonna trellis anything of this?
I would like to. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Because like this, all of this grass is going to be pulled out. Like, we really only want grass like in the front along that pathway. I mean, if even there, I would pull all of it out. I don't know. We'll see. It just takes a lot to, but we're still, like, every little piece of grass that we try to pull out, we plant this frog fruit.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, you should see it in the front yard. It is crazy. We just like trim that constantly, and then it's kind of like it's aggressive like Bermuda grass, but it's, you know, it's a pollinator support plant. It's meant to be here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we kind of are like, okay, if we can get the Bermuda out and get the frog fruit in, the frog fruit will like take over and keep the Bermuda at bay. It worked really well in the front.
Like a frog fruit, like clover blend or something.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That would be awesome.
And soft. I would want to lay on it.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just want to, like trellis. We've got these blackberries growing everywhere, but I kind of just want the whole perimeter to be like berries, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Have
pull.
you harvested any from these?
No. Honestly, most of our these are all so new. This is like the first year that they've really grown big enough like this.
Yeah.
And then we've got a serviceberry tree over there that has produced a lot of really beautiful berries, but it also invited a whole family of scissortail flycatchers now that live here. And so we did not get a single berry. They ate all of them. But that's okay, because they're out, they're dropping the seeds everywhere. Hopefully that'll just mean more service berries for everyone. But yeah, this is like, we've got persimmon trees right here that are going to grow up, and hopefully the timing will be right. Like, I don't know if they're kind of placed too close to the serviceberry. I don't know, because they will get pretty tall, but I kind of was thinking of the serviceberry as more of an understory plant, and the persimmon as kind of being the overstory. So that was my thought, but they might be a little close to each other.
I'm sure they grow close in nature too, you know?
I think so, but I don't know.
I love
It's all work in progress. This is some amaranth that I think that keeps popping up all over the place, which we love. It's a native plant, but it gets really super big and then it reseeds itself like crazy. So
just grow it once and like
yeah, I let it stay. One of them volunteered in this herb bed last year, and I let it stay because I thought it was pretty, and I wanted to gather the seeds, and you can eat the greens and stuff too. So we ate on it and used it, and then I didn't catch it before it reseeded, and now there's amaranth everywhere. So it's all right. The ducks will eat it.
Oh, that bed looks nice.
Yeah, we got this all pulled out. This is like, you know, successes and failures in the garden. We started with this planted with Cherokee candy roaster squash, and they were all really happy and great until the squash vine borers got to them, and so we lost that whole, actually there was some cucumbers back there too, and we lost those as well. So we kind of just opened the bed up, let the ducks do their thing, let them eat the little vine borer grubs.
Yeah, last time I was here, they were like grubbing
Oh yeah, they came and devoured everything, and then we pulled out all the rest of it and composted it. And so now I think, you know, we've kind of let this bed dry out a little bit, and I guess I'll probably like sprinkle that diatomaceous earth and like see if I can get something else to grow this season, or maybe just, I don't know, maybe I should just keep it and wait and for fall. These are a traditional irrigation method. It's an ancient method with, these are all clay pots, and I'll unearth a little bit of it so that you can see these are like gallon-sized pots. They're buried all the way. So this is just the little neck that sticks up, but the whole pot is about this big, and it's buried in the ground there. And you keep them filled with water, and the plant's roots reach out to it and take just the amount of water that they need. And as long as you keep them filled, the plants have enough water. The soil doesn't get oversaturated. It doesn't, you know, a lot of times the top watering will like lead to root rot on some of the plants that don't like to have their feet really wet. And then, so, you know, getting their water and their nutrients from the soil, from the bottom, I think is a lot healthier for the plants sometimes. And then it also conserves water, because we're not just losing a ton to evaporation and splash all over and all of that kind of stuff. It's just the amount of water that the plants need, and nothing more and nothing less. So it's been really successful in the garden this year. It's been super hot, but we have not had to come out here standing around with the hose. We just keep the oyas filled, and the plants stay really happy.
How often do you have to fill yours?
We top them off every day, because we have somebody here that comes, whether it's myself or you know, some of our other volunteers or employees that will come, and just kind of part of our daily routine is we come and gather up all the duck eggs, because there's eggs laid all over the place. And then as we're doing that, we check the oyas for fullness and top them off. So rather than like letting them go completely empty, but I would say probably like twice a week. Yeah. Kind of depends on the plant too. Like some of the plants are a little more thirsty than the other ones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's really happy. We have pollinator corners all over the place. We do companion planting, but also just these intentional spaces where we have, like, this whole corner is like milkweed and cowpen daisies and lots of wild bergamot, bee balm. There's a bunch of prairie sage, which we actually just harvested a ton of it to dry because it was getting real crazy. There's some wild mountain mint in the bottom there. And a lot of these, we partner with Tribal Alliance for Pollinators and the Uchi Butterfly Farm. And so they supply a lot of the seeds and lots of seedlings, so that any little spot that we have to fill in with pollinator plants, we kind of just, it's an ongoing, like, kind of permaculture restoration project where we're trying to...
Have you seen any monarchs yet out here?
We saw one. Yeah, one was going crazy over by the swamp milkweed, but I'm hoping that I'll come out and start seeing little egg deposits all over the place. We did really well in past years, even with just the small amount that we had to start out with, and now there's like milkweed in every corner around here, so it's really cool to see, like, the difference as we grow more of these plants. Like, of course, you'll be in the neighborhood, and you live around here, so you'll see, like, the neighborhood, okay, there's, like, you don't see a ton, I mean, you see bugs, but it's not a lot. Yeah. But here it's noticeable. It's like there are things buzzing and flying and crawling everywhere.
You're
here.
Like, it's working.
Yeah, you can feel like the life coming back to the space. It's so cool.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want the people to come back together, and then we want all of the bugs and the birds and the creepy crawlies and everybody that's supposed to be hanging out on this land together. This is kind of like, we want it to just be this little oasis of what you know, what can be if we choose things wisely, you know.
Yeah.
if we're like, just try to be real intentional about how we plant things, what we plant, make sure that it's not just to serve us, that it's to serve the whole little ecosystem that we live in.
Yeah.
So this is just mainly like
Basil.
annual herbs.
Smells good.
Yeah. Chamomile, which is
Ours looks
real,
like that too.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna do, but a lot of it we've already been harvesting and preserving, just because we kind of learn as we go. And last year I felt like we could have done better preserving a lot of things, you know, like it was out here and beautiful and we enjoyed it while it was here, but we didn't really put any away for winter, so to speak. So this year we've been really focused on like, okay, as these herbs come up, let's harvest and harvest and harvest and dry them, or we've been vacuum sealing and freezing a lot of herbs to use them fresh year round.
Yeah.
So that's what, like, we had lemon verbena down here, and that one we've pretty much harvested all of it. And then there's some lemon balm going, but yeah, and this basil plant is so weird. Like, look how it's growing.
It's like a little shrub.
It is. It's like, why is
really
it so
interesting.
tidy?
It's like a spicy basil too.
Yeah, I don't
It smells
know.
different than the other two.
She's
special.
She is.
The structure is really.
It's really like, I've never seen basil grow like that. I don't know what's going on, but she's a cover girl.
I like her.
Yeah.
Gotta save her seed for sure.
I know. And then lemongrass, this is awesome. We grew this last year too, and I loved it. But again, like, we totally dropped the ball on harvesting. So this year I'm like really trying to keep an eye and make sure I grab it at just the right time and dry and freeze what I need to. Because you can dry even the leaves and use that for tea. I'm super excited. This took a little while to get started, and the ducks kept nibbling on it. But it's a moonflower.
Oh, that's gonna be so beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it? I really want it to like cover the whole thing, and then we'll have like that night blooming, night pollinators.
You'll have bats. Do you guys have any bats out here or no?
I have seen them because we're right by the river. So
Yeah, I've seen bats at
yeah.
my house too.
When our first year, we had a series of bat box building workshops.
Oh, cool.
So we had the community come in, and that kind of came about just by like trying to figure out ways to solve problems in the garden. And some wise elder told me, when you have problems in the garden, the answer is never death, it's always more life. So, you know, instead of putting out, you know, poison to kill mosquitoes, or like spraying, you know, to kill the mosquitoes, because that was what kind of brought the idea about, was I was getting ate up out here. And I was like, what do I do about these mosquitoes other than like maybe a zap light or something that wouldn't hurt the ducks and wouldn't hurt the ecosystem, because I don't want, you know, I want all the bugs, I just don't really want that bug. And then it kind of came to mind, well, if the answer is more life, what eats mosquitoes? Bats. And so we kind of decided to do these bat boxes and build the boxes, and that was in 2023, and I have yet to hang my bat box. But it's on the porch, it's beautiful, it's ready to be home to a colony of bats. I just got to get up on the ladder.
Now you have flowers for them.
And now we will have nighttime blooming flowers for them. So yeah, it's time to get that thing put up. But yeah, we try to invite the bats in. You know, we had like a rodent problem, so we built some owl boxes to try and invite some hunters in to take care of that for us. And
Definitely seen owls around here too.
yeah.
It's working.
So yeah, we've got tomatoes over here, we've got tobacco, we've got all the sweet peppers are over on this side. So we've got some really good looking banana peppers that are about ready.
Yeah, those look nice.
You know, the pepper plants look really happy, but they are not making any peppers. So I don't know what's up with that. The tomatoes are definitely, they're getting there. They are much wilder and like more, I don't know, aggressive, I guess, maybe, than last year. But not putting on as much fruit, you know. Last year, everything was like maybe a little more like kind of contained and like made a little more sense. Like we had like you know, more of a central stalk and then like, you know, a normal shape of a plant. This is like, they're going long, they're winding through things and pulling themselves over and breaking themselves. So I'm like, you guys calm down, just focus on just chill and focus on tomato time. This arbor, both of these arbors are bean plants.
Bear paw beans, right?
Yeah, these are bear paw beans. So they've already all flowered. I'm just hoping that we get some little bean pods growing soon. The vines have been really happy, but haven't seen any fruit yet. There's kind of, you know, all of this is meant to be a tool for different garden experts to come in and use it to teach. So we've got lots of companion planting going on in here too. Like the tomatoes get planted with basil, and then there's some chives and oregano hidden in different places to kind of keep bugs away and support each other. And these are just crazy.
It looks like a tree.
I know. I've been feeling, I wanted to ask you about this, like, you know, when you kind of feel the leaves, like there's a little bit of a cooling sensation.
Yeah.
Like, are they producing a little bit of like moisture on their leaves that?
Probably. On the underside, you'd have to have a microscope to see it, but they literally have like little pores almost.
Yeah.
So when it's hot, it's kind of like when we like sweat.
That's what it feels like. I feel like they're sweating.
Yeah, plants do the same thing.
I noticed that, and I had never really picked that up with tomatoes before, and so that makes a lot of sense. So hopefully, I don't know, at a certain point I'll have to come and start just pulling green tomatoes, and some of these are supposed to be green. Like this one is a green zebra tomato, so if they get big enough I'll pull them. But we've got crazy okra back here that I need to. I didn't bring my trimmers, but I'll harvest okra today. We do it every single day.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have an ongoing, like, we'll...
Oh, look at the flowers. The flowers are
they're so pretty.
It almost looks like a hibiscus.
It does. It's very, like, tropical, exotic looking. And then we've got hot peppers over here, which this one is a roulette pepper that's been producing. I got one off of it yesterday, and then there's 1, 2, 3 down there. Yeah, I've never used those before, but one of the farmers market ladies that grows peppers told me that I would like it. So
Are they spicy?
yeah, they're supposed to be pretty spicy.
Oh, cool.
I didn't grow anything super crazy because I can't handle a lot of heat, and so we keep it pretty mellow around here on that. But yeah, a lot of them just aren't, like, I have a jalapeno in here. It's getting really leggy, but no fruits. And then there's some shishito peppers over there that are doing really good. I could probably harvest a bunch of those. There's some poblano peppers in here too that have not put anything out.
On this one.
That is definitely duck damage.
Oh yeah.
That's what these mesh things are for.
Oh, I see.
Because even with this fencing to keep them out of the beds, they will poke their little heads right through, and they'll eat anything that they can get their bills on. So that's, if you see, like, everything stays really nice and trimmed at the borders, if it's something the ducks like. If they don't like it, it goes wild, but
They like the peppers.
they do. They love the peppers. We didn't get peppers at all last year because they came in, and before I really realized what was going to be happening, I thought that they were too little, because last spring they were just babies, so they were just barely, you know, this tall, and so I thought, oh, they're not going to get in the beds. They definitely did. They found a way. They hopped up in the beds. They snipped all the peppers off as seedlings, just nibbled and ate the whole plant. So this year we're doing better. Learning every year. This was a bed that's already been harvested pretty much. I trimmed back all of we had some caterpillars get into our Swiss chard, and so I harvested everything and was hoping that we'd get another round, but it does not look like they are growing back. Maybe. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to disturb it. I'm just going to leave the roots there, make sure the oya stays full, and hopefully we'll get another round of chard. And And then we had radishes out there. So we got a really good crop of watermelon radishes and some French breakfast. And now I've got space to plant something else, but I'll probably just leave it until it cools down. And then this is another heirloom, like ancestral variety of bean. They're Odawa shield beans. So it's like a real creamy white bean with a yellow spot on it. And they're really delicious and definitely like a totally different style, like flavor of bean, even though they're both climbing, you know, pod beans that you would dry. We'll let the beans grow hopefully and dry them on the vine and then harvest them for dried beans to do soups and stuff. But they're just two different really contrasting flavors of beans that we're growing in here with the bear paws and the Odawas. Yeah, they're pretty. I love seeing the differences. Like they're definitely like, you know, they're the same plant. They're both beans and both climbing beans, but they just have very different characteristics. Yeah. So it's cool. And then this wild bed. I planted one tiny episote seedling last year and let it go to seed, and now it's just insane.
She's gonna be here forever.
Forever and ever. Like, she has established herself. Even though I'm gonna pull all of this out this week probably, maybe even later tonight when it cools off. But yeah, these are all plants that we have grown in our greenhouses. These are all, you know, we have a tiny little greenhouse inside in our utility room, which is 4 shelves, and we started with a bunch of seeds that either we harvested from our own plants or that we got from the Uchi Butterfly Farm, from the Tribal Alliance for Pollinators. And again, Britt Bear, one of our staff members here, just really lovingly planted all of these in the garden, in the greenhouse, and got these seedlings going. And now they've moved outside here to kind of establish themselves a little more. And then these will all go out into the community. So anybody that wants to plant a pollinator garden, that wants to plant some different things to replace some of the invasive species in their gardens and provide support. And then we also plant these around here where we have space, and we have some more land up the road that we're going to be doing another permaculture project, just reestablishing that biodiversity, creating an urban ecosystem, and all of these plants will end up with homes there too. We've got a bunch of different varieties that, yeah, there's 2 different white sweet potatoes and a purple sweet potato.
Oh, cool.
And so hopefully, I just planted those a few weeks ago, and hopefully we'll get a pretty good. I've never grown them in bags before like this, but I am told that the sweet potatoes really like that method, and then we can just dump the bags when they're done.
Yeah, just like plant them and forget about them.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the fall, when there's hopefully they're full of potatoes, we can just take this, and there's lots of beds over there that will need topping off. So my plan was to just like pick these up, dump them out in the beds, sort them out, grab the potatoes, and then spread the rest of the dirt over the beds that need refills.
Yeah, great idea.
So out front here, just like in the back, every little space has been, we've kind of had more time out front here to be pulling all the invasive species and planting pollinators. And so this stuff is all like in its second year wild. And 2 really important plants back here are these bushes that are growing. That's Yopon holly.
Oh, nice.
So that's a traditional medicine and tea that we use.
You ever harvest it?
Yeah, we do. It's in its second year, so it's gotten pretty well established, and so I'm fine with like trimming a little bit off and making a cup of tea, but I haven't really been, I'm kind of waiting for it to get a lot bigger to start, to start really, like, eventually we want to be able to, you know, harvest and preserve, like dry the leaves and bag up tea that we produce here ourselves, because we use a lot of it. And then this honey vine is taking over everything, but yeah, I kind of have not, like, I need to pull it off of that yaupon back there because it's getting a little aggressive. There's also a butterfly bush back there that's kind of getting overtaken by this honey vine. But I kind of kept it because it is in the milkweed family. So it is monarch caterpillar food. But then also it's a really nice, like, diversion plant. Is that the term that you use?
Yeah, or like a trap.
A trap, yeah, like a trap plant, because all these aphids go nuts for it, but I don't see a lot of aphids on like our swamp milkweed and our common milkweed. So they seem to like, as long as they're eating this particular plant, that's totally fine, and then they leave the rest of our plants alone. So, but yeah, all of these, you know, we've got some scarlet bee balm in here that's already bloomed. These sunflowers just popped up because of a bird feeder that I had, and the birds just dropped sunflower seeds everywhere. I did plant a couple in our first year, but now these just go crazy. So I've kind of actually been taking them all out because they're crowding out. Like my prickly pear in there needs some sun, and they've been shading it out. I know, it's like I keep pulling the sunflowers away from it because I'm like, it's kind of getting in the way. Also kind of hard to see, but like there's all different pollinator species in here. Some cool native grasses over here, more milkweed, more frog fruit that some of the frog fruit took off and some didn't. But this is actually, we dug that pond last year and I had to move all of the dirt that we took out, and I piled it in the driveway thinking I would have somebody come and pick it up. And so this was just a pile of, you know, dirt from digging out the pond. And then these sunflowers started to pop up, and I was like, well, I can't remove the sunflowers now. All these plants have a home. So now instead of a parking spot, we have a giant dirt pile that's like growing sunflowers. And so I just decided to go with it this year, and I'm like, okay, well, if we have a dirt pile, let's plant some stuff in it. And so I planted some watermelons that the last couple little fruits that came on disappeared, but we have some more, so I'm really hoping we still get some watermelons this year. I haven't been successful with melons in the last couple years, so we'll see. But then once all of that is done in the winter, I am going to have someone come and get this dirt pile out of the way, because it is supposed to be like a nice open, like pretty garden beds and stuff, and instead it's just like, yep, this is my dirt pile. It's got a bunch of, this is the European version, invasive version of lamb's quarters.
Okay.
But there's a native goosefoot that we're really trying to like, last year we let all of this go wild because this is edible and it's really delicious and really good for you. It's like spinach but with like 10 times the amount of nutrients.
Oh, nice.
So we use it when we cook a lot, but I really would rather have it be the indigenous variety of this.
Yeah.
So we're kind of not going to allow this to go to seed. We'll pull it out and then hopefully start replacing it. Yeah, we'll eat it all, and then it freezes really well, so we do that just like frozen spinach, and then hopefully get some of the native goosefoot planted. Look! Oh my gosh!
Oh, a little melon. I thought that was a rock.
This is my first time seeing it. I'm so excited. This whole strip in the middle, this was just like a strip of, you know, crabgrass. And we had one of our first like outdoor garden events. We had in the spring of 2024, we had the Tribal Alliance for Pollinators come out and do a pollinator garden workshop, and kind of, we had like 12 community members come up, and they all learned how to like remove the whole top layer, get, you know, dig out all the grass and stuff, and then we all planted, you know, this was just a few little spots of plants, you know, like little seedlings, and we watered and watered all throughout the first year, kept everything alive all summer, and this is the result. This is the permaculture. This is like, I have not done anything to maintain this year. I haven't watered, I don't, you know, there's no sprinklers. It's just, it all goes crazy and it maintains itself, and it's so beautiful, like all these different flowers, and I mean, this is where you'll find the most diversity of bugs and birds and stuff too, is like they're all in here eating frog fruit, pollen and nectar, and these are all Maximiliani sunflowers, so they bloom at the end of the summer, and there will be little, silver dollar sized sunflowers all throughout there, and it's so pretty. But it's really fun to see all the different things as they come up in the season.
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, rattlesnake master. And all of this frog fruit, the driveway is a good, this bed only goes in probably 3 feet from here. So all of this is just stretched over the concrete, and I need to come and trim it and plant it in other places to keep it under control here, but also because it can be used as a ground cover everywhere else. And it's just so resilient. I mean, you can walk on it, you can lay on it, you can mow it.
Drive over it.
Yeah, you can drive over it. I drive over it all the time, and the next day it's just like, boop. So, and the flowers are actually, I'm obsessed with them. They're if you look, they're so cute. Teeny tiny little, but when you zoom in on them, they're so pretty. It's like a little bouquet of daisies on each plant. It's really cute. And the bees love it. There was supposed to be a ton of different plants that I planted in here, and the brown-eyed Susans have just claimed this section of the world. And the last storm that blew in, they were all really nice and upright against the house, and it was this really beautiful pathway. And then that first really bad storm that we had this season, the wind whipped back around the house and flattened everything.
Oh, man.
And so I've been propping them back up, but they're still happy. They're just leaning a little more than I really wanted them to. But we're also kind of just learning what is the right thing for the right space, these might not be the best plant for this particular walkway. Maybe we need to pull them out this year and try something a little shorter or more compact in this bed next year. But we might not have a choice because they kind of just show up, at this point. They're perennials. They've established themselves. They're not going anywhere.
They look so good though.
They do. I love them. So, everyone just have to deal with it.
Just brush against them.
You can be a pollinator too. This whole place, this whole building didn't have any gutters, and which sucked because I really wanted to do rain capture. So we built a shed over there and put a gutter on it, and that feeds this rain barrel. And literally one good storm will fill up the whole barrel. And then we have, that's 90 gallons of water that we use. It's perfect for filling up we fill up a watering can and then go fill the oyas with it. And that rainwater is really good for it because the city water is really hard. It has a lot of crazy minerals and chemicals in it. So the water that we get from the rain barrels is always better for the plants. We use that for our indoor plants also, so that they don't get kind of that chemical shock from our water. And then this one, we had the landlord put up a gutter just for us to fill this rain barrel. But all of this is meant to be a model, we really want it to be a model for people to be inspired and be oh, I could put a rain barrel at my house, and then I would have water for my garden, and I could, instead of the I have a vendetta against boxwood bushes because they're just pointless. They're so dumb. They're so colonial. I want my square bushes,
Cute.
And it's I don't think that's pretty.
Yeah.
And it doesn't support any kind of any kind of pollinator or any kind of ecosystem. They're just there.
Yeah.
And it's pull that out and plant something really wild and beautiful and water it with a rain barrel. And people just love coming here and seeing this. They're oh my God, this is gorgeous. I'm you can do this. And the best part about it is you don't have to trim it. You don't have to water it. You don't have to do anything. Once it's established, it just is.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful on its own.
Yeah.
And that's what we want people to kind of envision for their own space when they're here. The best way to connect with us is our social media. We have Facebook and Instagram. Both of them you can find at Burning Cedar Tulsa. And we post all of our events. We post highlights of, you know, things that we've done in the past, things that we have upcoming, what's going on in the garden, keeping tabs on our little flock of ducks here who are always doing something crazy. You can follow us on there. And then we also have a website, burningscedar.org, and we have an events page, and we have listings that kind of describe all of our different programming and our catering menu if you're interested in supporting us by hiring us to cook some traditional indigenous food for you. All of those things can be found on the website.
Right now we are in the classroom building, one of the newest buildings on campus at College of the Muscogee Nation. And today we are going to make an Oya. So if you remember at Burning Cedar, they had this really cool irrigation system where they basically buried clay vases in the soil. And the idea is that the water will slowly seep out of the clay pores and keep the deeper layers of your soil moist. This is an irrigation technique that a lot of Pueblo or desert tribes use to conserve water. This is how they irrigate and grow crops in really dry places. So at Burning Cedar, they had these really cool vases that were pre-made already for Oyas for irrigation. But I'm just going to show viewers at home how to make their own Oya, so you don't have to go on Amazon or order an Oya online. You can literally just buy 2 terracotta pots and glue them together, and it essentially does the same thing. So you'll want to start with 2 unglazed terracotta pots. Unglazed, you can tell because it's not shiny, it's kind of dull. Also, when you tap it, it has like a little ringy sound. If it was glazed, it'd be a lot more dull. So that's how you can tell, but also it's just not shiny. So it's unglazed, something with a hole at the bottom. You really just need one hole. The other one we're gonna leave plugged. So we'll open up this one. And so basically what we're gonna do is set them on top of each other like this and mold and glue them together. So then you have your hole on top that you can fill with water. Unglazed is preferred because when it's glazed, it's basically closing up all of those clay pores on the outside. So we need those clay pores exposed so the water can slowly seep out. So I'm using, I'm gonna seal this up. You can see I made this first one and I tried a bunch of different sealants like hot glue and roof and like silicone sealant. And I found that the silicone sealant works the best. It's the most solid. It's also less likely to be toxic to your soil. It's not like you're adding plastic or something into your soil. You're kind of adding a natural organic sealant to your soil. Oh, okay. Maybe. Slice. Okay, so you want to make sure they're lined up evenly. We don't want any space right here because then your water will just leak out when you fill it up. So whenever you're using a silicone, it's usually recommended that you wait 24 to 48 hours for it to dry and actually seal. So we'll probably leave this one indoors for a day or 2 before we bury it in the soil. So this one that we have completed, is dry, sealed, ready to go. So this one we can go ahead and bury, and this one we'll revisit tomorrow and add to a bed. And you'll pick the size of your pots depending on the size of your bed. So you see one is clearly bigger than the other. Our beds out in the garden are like 5 feet by 3 feet. They're not very large raised beds at all. So something like this should be plenty. It might even be a little too big. This would be good for maybe like a 10-foot bed or something a lot bigger or a lot longer. but you just kind of want to keep the size of your bed in mind because we're going to be burying this in soil. So you want to make sure your bed is deep enough to even accommodate these oyas. You can put these in ground, you can put these in raised beds. You can even buy tiny, small terracotta pots and do the same thing and put them in your house plants, like in the larger pots for your house plants or your potted plants at home. You would just change the size of the oya. I have a really big, like 8-foot long raised bed at home, and I have 2 oyas buried in that bed just so both ends of the bed can have the same moisture levels. Okay, so now we'll go out to the garden and bury one of these oyas in our raised beds. So we'll probably bury this oya in the middle of this bed. We had flowers planted in this bed, but they got spider mites really bad, so I cut them all back, as you can see. So it's an empty bed that we can put this oya in. You kind of want to put it in the center of your bed if it's not big, like this one. So the idea is that you have the oya in the middle, and you have plants planted around it. So the plants will also help draw some of that water out of the oya via like capillary action. You know, they're going to kind of pull with their roots water towards them from the oya. So they'll kind of encourage some of that water to seep out through the clay. Okay. And I'm short, so I have to stand in the bed. It's really cool. You can see the soil layers. You can see where it changes from like organic matter, like all the dark stuff, down to like the sandy clay, less organic matter stuff where it's less black and more like light brown. That's pretty cool. I think that'll be good. So I want to leave a little bit of it sticking out just so I kind of know that it's there, also so I can refill it. So we'll go ahead and bury her. She's a girl. Oh no. And there you have it. So now we'll fill it up with water. And then you'll want to cap your hole. This isn't an official cap. This is until I find a better one. But you'll want to cap your hole just to avoid mosquitoes breeding in your oya, you know. And then ideally, you would just come out and refill it every day. That's how I do mine at home. I just kind of refill it to the top every morning when I'm watering the rest of my plants. So it never really gets empty. Also, you know, I like oyas more for deeper rooted or established plants. So if you're planting seeds or if you're transplanting plants from indoors, outdoors, you would probably still want to top water in addition to your oya until you feel like your plants are bigger and deeper rooted and more established. Then you can start relying on that oya once the plants are a little bit older and more mature. But for your seedlings, for your seeds, your transplants, you might still want to top water and use your oya at the same time, especially in the summer. Mado for watching today's episode of the gardening series. If you want to come out and visit our garden, come see it in person. We're hosting volunteer days every Friday from noon to 4 p.m. at the community garden on campus at CMN.